Hello everyone and welcome back to the YouTube channel of NG Core. So in our earlier videos of charmed end-to-end deployment, we have seen end-to-end charmed stack with split 8, and also in one of our last video, we successfully demonstrated UPF scaling with charmed E3 core. So in today's video, we'll have a look on the end-to-end charmed stack in Orange split 7.2 mode. The setup for this demo includes, on the core side, we have charmed E3 core. On the RAN side, we are using charmed OAI RAN in split 7.2 mode, running in a CU-DU split architecture. The G0B in the setup is the Light-on FlexFi ORU, and lastly, we'll be using a Nothing UE to test the end-to-end connectivity. So let's proceed with the deployment. Firstly, let's have a look on the charmed E3 core, which we have already deployed. Let's see if all the network functions are up or not. We can use kubectl get pods command to check if all the pods are up or not. So you can see all pods are up and running fine. We can also check Juju status. Here you can see all the Juju charm applications are also active. Now let's check AMF logs for NGAP setup details. So here you can see the logs. The RAN context has been removed, indicate that there is no NGAP setup yet. That means there is no communication between the G0B and AMF. So let's start a central unit to initiate the NGAP procedure. So here you can see the AMF logs again. This time you will notice the ng setup request and response, which confirms the NGAP procedure as successful. Now let's move on to creating the subscriber and network slice via the dashboard. And you can also verify the slice details by checking the AMF logs. Now let's move on to the G0B side of things. Here we have the charmed CU and DU deployed. To check the status of pods, we can use the kubectl get pods command. And as you can see, the CU containers are up and running, while the DU is still in the process of getting ready. We will give it some time to initialize properly. Now let's take a closer look at the CU logs. In the logs, we can see that the NGAP setup has been successfully completed with the AMF, indicating that the communication between the CU and AMF has been successfully established. Next, let's check the status of Juju charms. Here we can switch to the RAN model. As you can see, the DU is still in a pending state. We'll need to wait for it to transition into the active state. After a short wait, you will notice that both the CU and DU charm applications are now active. To ensure everything is in order, let's go through the CU logs once again. This time, we'll be looking for the open middle F1 interface connection setup between the CU and DU pods. In the logs, we can see F1 setup request and response, confirming that the F1 setup procedure has been successfully completed between the CU and DU components. Similarly, we can also check the DU logs, which will confirm the F1 setup has been completed successfully or not. So you can see the DU logs confirming the F1 setup is successful. And in the initial logs, we can observe light on starting its initialization process. Here we can see multiple configuration parameters and their respective values related to the DU and radio. Additionally, the logs confirm that DU has successfully initialized the light on ORU. And you can also see these PUSCH and PRACH fields along with the RX and TX buffers indicating the transmission of packets between the RU and DU. And one more important component is the Linux BTP, which is responsible for ensuring the ODU and ORU are synchronized in time and frequency. Now let's have a view on the PCAP files of F1 setup and front haul part. So these are the F1 AP PCAPs, and we can search for F1 AP protocol and you can see the F1 setup request here. Along with the F1 setup response. Similarly, for the front haul part between the RU and DU, we can see the U-plane packets exchange between the RU and the charm DU container. We can also see the C-plane packets initialized by DU to the radio, indicating ECPRI details along with other important configurations and parameters. Now let's see the ORU in action and try to connect our UE as well. So here we have the light on ORU in running state. Let's proceed with connecting the UE by turning off the airplane mode. And as soon as the UE connects, you will notice the 5G symbol appearing, indicating that the end-to-end setup has been successfully established. To verify the connection and ensure everything is working, we can perform a speed test. And as you can see, the internet is also working fine. So, as you have already seen in the earlier steps of the video, we successfully tested the charmed setup in ORN split 7.2 mode, ensuring proper end-to-end connectivity across all the components. We walked through the deployment of charmed Aether SD core, the setup of the CU and DU components with the light on RU, and validated the communication and synchronization between the ODU and ORU component. We also confirmed the successful NGAP and F1 AP setup procedures, and lastly we verified the end-to-end connection with the UE. So that was all for this video. Thank you.